The old Bugatti sat in the middle of the showroom like a wounded king. Its deep black paint still shined under the bright lights, but the engine had been silent for almost 2 years. 5 of the biggest tech companies in America had tried to fix it. They sent engineers with million-dollar machines, laptops full of advanced software, and teams of experts wearing expensive suits. Every single one failed. The owner of the Bugatti was Ethan Cole, one of the richest CEOs in California. People feared him more than they respected him. He built a billion-dollar technology empire from nothing, but success had changed him. He trusted money more than people. And now, the one thing he truly loved sat completely dead in front of him. The car wasn't just expensive. It had belonged to his late father. Every failed repair felt like losing another piece of him. One rainy afternoon, Ethan stood in the showroom staring at the car with tired eyes. His assistant quietly approached him. "Sir," she said softly, "there's a maintenance worker outside asking if he can take a look at the Bugatti." Ethan almost laughed. A maintenance worker. He said he used to work on engines years ago. Ethan shook his head. 5 tech giants couldn't fix it. Why would a janitor? But before the assistant could answer, Ethan noticed a little girl standing near the glass entrance. She looked about 8 years old, holding a worn backpack close to her chest. Beside her stood a man in simple work clothes, soaked from the rain. The little girl smiled and waved at Ethan politely. Something about that smile made him pause. "Fine," Ethan sighed. 5 minutes. The man walked in carefully. His name tag read Daniel. "Thank you, sir," Daniel said kindly. Up close, Ethan noticed how exhausted he looked. His shoes were old, and his hands were rough from years of hard work. "You really think you can fix this?" Ethan asked coldly. Daniel glanced at the Bugatti with calm eyes. "I don't know," he replied honestly. "But sometimes people look too hard for complicated problems." Ethan crossed his arms. Daniel's daughter quietly sat in the corner coloring in a small notebook while her father approached the car. The room became silent. Daniel didn't use a computer. He didn't connect any fancy equipment. Instead, he simply listened. He leaned near the engine, closed his eyes for a moment, and gently touched a small wire hidden beneath the side panel. Then he smiled. "That's strange," he whispered. Ethan frowned. "What?" Daniel pointed to a tiny disconnected sensor. "This wire is loose." One of the engineers nearby laughed. "That's impossible. We checked everything." Daniel nodded politely. "I'm sure you did." He tightened the connection carefully. Then he looked at Ethan. "Try it now." The entire showroom held its breath. Ethan slowly pressed the start button. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the Bugatti roared to life. The sound shook the entire building. Employees gasped. One engineer dropped his tablet in shock. And Ethan just stood there frozen. The car worked perfectly. After 2 years. 5 minutes. Ethan stared at Daniel like he had seen a ghost. "How did you do that?" Daniel shrugged softly. "My father was a mechanic," he said. "When I was little, he taught me that machines usually whisper before they scream. You just have to listen carefully." For the first time in years, Ethan smiled. A real smile. Then he noticed Daniel coughing badly into his sleeve. "You okay?" Ethan asked. Daniel quickly nodded. "Just tired." But his daughter looked down sadly. Ethan noticed. "What's your name?" he asked her. "Sophie," she answered quietly. Ethan crouched beside her. "You like cars?" She smiled. "Daddy says cars are like people. If you take care of them, they take care of you." Daniel laughed softly. "I say a lot of things." Ethan looked at the little girl's backpack. The zipper was broken. The edges were torn. Something inside him suddenly felt heavy. For years, he had spent millions chasing success while people around him struggled just to survive. "Why are you working maintenance here?" Ethan asked Daniel. Daniel hesitated. "After my wife passed away, I had to leave my mechanic shop to take care of Sophie. Maintenance jobs were the only work I could find quickly." The room became quiet again. Ethan looked at the man differently now. Not as a janitor. Not as a poor worker. But as a father trying his best. And suddenly, Ethan thought about his own father. A man who worked double shifts at a factory so his son could have opportunities. a man Ethan barely visited before he died. The Bugatti wasn't the only thing he had neglected. Ethan swallowed hard. "How much do I owe you?" he asked. Daniel smiled politely. "Nothing, sir. I was happy to help." But Ethan shook his head. "No. Nobody fixes a $2 million car for free." Daniel looked embarrassed. "I really don't need much." Ethan stared at him for a long moment. Then he asked something unexpected. "Do you miss working on engines?" Daniel's eyes lit up instantly. "Every day." That answer changed everything. The next morning, Ethan called every employee into the main office. People expected another cold business meeting. Instead, Ethan walked in holding a small piece of paper. "This company forgot something important," he said quietly. "We became obsessed with technology and forgot the value of people." Nobody spoke. Ethan continued. "Yesterday, a man with no degree, no expensive tools, and no recognition solved a problem billion-dollar companies couldn't fix." Then he looked toward the back of the room where Daniel stood nervously. "Because wisdom doesn't always wear a suit." The employees applauded loudly. But Ethan wasn't finished. He walked over to Daniel and handed him a set of keys. "I bought the old mechanic shop downtown," Ethan said. "It's yours now." Daniel's face turned pale. "What?" "I want you to run it," Ethan continued. "And I want you to train young people who need second chances." Tears filled Daniel's eyes instantly. "I can't accept this." "Yes, you can," Ethan replied gently. "Because kindness should continue moving forward." Little Sophie hugged her father tightly while the entire room watched. Some employees even wiped away tears. But Ethan had one more surprise. He crouched beside Sophie again. "And for you," he smiled, handing her another small box. Inside was a brand new backpack. Sophie's eyes widened. "It's purple," she whispered happily. "My favorite color." Ethan smiled. For the first time in many years, the billionaire CEO felt something money had never given him before. Peace. Months later, Daniel's mechanic shop became famous across the city. Young workers came there not just to learn about cars, but to learn about life. Daniel treated every customer with kindness, no matter how rich or poor they were. And Ethan visited often. Not as a CEO. As a friend. People still talked about the day 5 tech giants failed while a single dad succeeded in 5 minutes. But the real miracle wasn't fixing the Bugatti. The real miracle was fixing a human heart. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can restart a life that has been silent for years. And maybe that's the lesson we all need to remember. You never know how deeply someone is hurting. You never know how much one moment of respect can change a person forever. Kindness doesn't care about titles, money, or status. It simply works. So if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below for Kindness Unlimited. And remember, the world changes one kind act at a time.